So if you have that negative perceived behavioral control, you won't sign up to do it, you won't develop the intention to do it, even if your attitudes and norms are in favor of doing it. In contrast, if you think more like the example here in the figure, that there's nothing blocking you from doing it, you have the time, or you can make the time, you have no barrier in terms of your perceived behavioral control, then all three things are in the positive direction, and you will form the intention to do it. As we'll see in a moment, intention is only one component, only one predictor of behavior. If these three things work together, then you'll have the intention. Now, again, just like in the original theory of reasoned action, these things can be weighted differently. They're not necessarily weighted equally, but all three components are seen to be important. The theory of planned behavior has been used in a lot of, particularly health psychology literature, and we'll talk hopefully later in the semester, we talk briefly about social psychological applications to the study of health, about specific studies that have been done using the theory of planned behavior to understand health behavior. And so these have been done with things like whether people intend to use condoms during sex, whether people intend to use dental floss. Those tend to be the kinds of things that health psychologists research because they're interested in choices that we make that are either positive for our health or good for health or not good for health. And what those studies find is that you can use these models to predict behavior, but then depending on the outcome you're interested in, each of the components may be more important. Sometimes norms are more important, sometimes attitudes are more important, sometimes perceived behavioral control is more important. Why would you want to know which one is most important? Well, you have to take your sort of public health hat for a second and think, okay, let's say there's some behavior that we want people to engage in. And we'll talk after break about persuasion. There's a lot of social psychological research on persuasion. But let's say there's some behavior, some health behavior that we want people to engage in. We want to create some sort of intervention, some sort of public health message, let's say, to get people to do more than health behavior. But we don't know what kind of intervention to do. Using the theory of planned behavior will help us figure out what kind of intervention might be most appropriate. So, for example, if we know from our research using the theory of planned behavior that what's keeping people from doing this health behavior is their norms, then we would want interventions to change the norms. So use social pressure to change people's norms and to get them to do it. If we found that what was keeping people from engaging in the good health behavior was perceived behavioral control, we'd want to design interventions that would facilitate people thinking that they could control their behavior and show them how to control their behavior. So the point is that by using this framework, it's not just, oh, it's nice we can predict behavioral intentions. It's important because it gives us a framework for thinking about, well, where do we intervene if we want to change intentions? And again, we'll come back to that. We'll talk about it in the context of persuasion. We'll also talk about it in the context of health, specifically later in the semester. Okay, but that's very nice. We can have a framework for predicting behavioral intentions. We can understand that attitudes are an important predictor, but they're not the only predictor. And we have a model that allows us to imagine ways of intervening on particular components if we believe that those components are where people are getting hung up and not engaging in positive health behavior or intentions to change their health behavior. What I want to talk about, though, is that there is a problem that we sort of need to just keep in mind as we think about using attitudes and norms and control to predict behavior, and that is that things get in the way. Things get in the way in various places in this model. So, for example, things may get in the way between behavioral intentions and behavior. I'm sure you've all had the experience of intending to do the reading for some other class and finding that you have not engaged in that actual behavior. So things obviously interfere with translating our intentions into behaviors, and sometimes things other than these three components interfere even with our intentions. So I'm going to briefly consider some components that psychologists have identified that interfere with the clear mapping between attitude, norms, and control, and intentions, and between intentions and behavior. These are other things that get in the way in terms of our intentions turning into behaviors. do with a general problem in social psychological research, and that is social desirability. We're social creatures, and we often do things, or say things, or believe things that we think other people want us to say, do, or believe. So social desirability is giving an answer or doing something that, because we think it's what other people want us to do or what they want to hear. Now, how does this play a role in behavioral research and attitudes predicting behavior? I mean, think about the LaPierre study. Maybe the managers said that they wouldn't serve people of Asian descent because they didn't want to admit to a non-Asian customer that they would do that, because they were afraid that, here was this person with a non-Asian name writing them a letter asking if they served Asians there. They might have thought, well, this person may be concerned and want to be in an environment where there isn't somebody of Asian descent, so maybe what they want me to say is that I don't serve them. And then when in actual situation, there was a demand of the possible paying customer versus turning down a possible paying customer. So there are these pressures. What does that person want me to do? What does that person want me to say? And it's not that that is, to the extent that these things predict behavior or attitudes, there's something other than these components that is getting in the way of our prediction. Social desirability is a problem throughout psychological research. Anytime that we trust somebody to give us an honest answer about their attitudes, for example, we worry about whether they're telling the truth or not. Yeah.
How is social desirability different from
So that's a good question. Social desirability is a specific case of social norms in which we are affected by what we think other people want us to respond on that particular thing. So social norms are just, in general, how we believe the world works. But social desirability is, what do we think this person wants from us in this particular situation? Or how do we want to present ourselves, as you'll see is the flip side of that. We can't do attitude research if people lie to us about what they do and what they believe. It's predicated on some truth. And so, social desirability can really mess up our attempts to study these things. And so, some very ingenious social psychologists came up with a technique to get around social desirability pressures in social psychology, and it's called a bogus pipeline. And here's why it's called a bogus pipeline. The person who developed the idea, bogus pipeline is basically any fake lie detector test where you trick subjects into believing that you have some contraption that will tell you if they're lying or not. And it's bogus because the thing doesn't actually work. And you basically frighten people into telling the truth because they think that you're going to know if they're lying.